Hello my friends and welcome to Bob Anime Games Initiation Zone. I'm the admin, and having recently buried myself with all these damn vlogs for Danganronpa 3, I thought I should dig my hole even deeper by possibly doing a Danganronpa 3 edition of Type That Cast, where I take a look at series that I really enjoy and check out the dub cast that they've selected for them, and then give my opinions on them. Oh, and would you look at that? Funimation was kind enough to provide us with broadcast dubs. Okay, farewell for now, my friends, and all that junk. I'm done for today. See ya! Okay, I'll do it. Jesus. So, yeah, I'm not all that excited to talk about Funimation's broadcast dubs.
Not because I'm against dubs or anything, on the contrary, I think it's an art that shouldn't be rushed. But since they try to get these out as soon as possible, scripts aren't all that tightly written, and even end up with references that really should not be brought up, lest ye want the full wrath of the internet to come down upon thee. Also, I think ADR directors aren't given enough time to work with the cast to get them properly in character, or figure out what should be the proper inflection in every scene. Still, I have been asked to take a look at this and give my opinions on this cast, so here we go.
So here's Type That Cast with Danganronpa 3, Zetsubo-hen and Miyai-hen, or as Funimation calls it, the Despair arc and the Future arc. You know, the promotional art has side Future and side Despair and their thing, so you could have just have gone with that. And never mind, that's the least of this show's problems. So first of all, let's talk about recasting. I've already shared my opinions on the recasting that they did for Danganronpa the animation for the Danganronpa 1 crew, so now let's instead focus on the Danganronpa 2 crew, the Class 77.
Luckily for Funimation, a lot of the actors already had residence in both Texas, where Funimation is, and California, where Nice America is. So characters like Nagito, Kazuichi, Teru, and Nekomaru kept their original actors, and they even managed to call in Mikan, Mahiru, Hiyoko, Sonya, Chiaki, and Hajime's actors from California. Hard to say whether or not they'll be able to pull this off again when the time comes to do the final dubs, but for now, I thought everyone still sounded really good, unrefined scripts and shy direction aside. Seriously, no one can replace Dion Bosch, dammit. Now, as for the remainder of the class, obviously the ultimate impersonator is going to be voiced by whoever they get to play Yota Mita and the Miyai-hen, so let's save that for later. He'll also most likely be played by Josh Grell when he reprises his role as Anime Byakuya.
For Tanaka the Forbidden One, they went with an interesting choice in Scott Barracks.
If you don't recognize that name, you probably know him better as Kaiser Neko of Team 4-Star, or as Censor Kaiser from Anime Abandon. Yeah, they got a YouTube sensation to play a fan-favorite character. So, how did he do? I don't know, he just seemed to lack the sort of epic hamminess that Chris Tergaliaferia brought to the role. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, by the way.
You may call me Gundam Tanaka. Remember it well, for it is the name that will one day rule this world.
I don't want to sound too negative, it's just that Chris delivered such an amazing performance that it's hard to hear anyone else play the role.
Unleash your chaos, my devas, that we may cleanse this Gehenna.
I do see Scott being capable of pulling off a similar performance, but again, he just needs time to refine the role and possibly deliver another awesome Censor Kaiser revival moment.
I am the hope of the universe. I am the answer to all living things that cry out for decency. I am Censor Kaiser! Ally to modesty! Nightmare to purge!
Moving on to Fuyuhiko Kuzu, we've got Aaron Dismick. Who's Aaron, you may be asking? Why, he was Alphonse Eric, of course. Yeah, the kid's been acting for a while now. So does that mean he can match up with a super veteran like Derek Stephen Prince? No.
I mean, he's not a bad actor, but he just doesn't sound right here. Fuyuhiko should have a little bit of an overconfident, if not kind of brag voice to him.
Name's Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu. Just so we're clear, I don't plan to act friendly and shit with you guys.
There's just something in Aaron's voice that seems to lack the swagger that Fuyuhiko should have.
What the hell kind of bait and switch are you pulling here? Kizakura's our homeroom teacher.
As a result, Fuyuhiko sounds like he's really trying to act tough rather than just being a natural punk like he should be. Not all that great a match, and really, you can't replace the prince.
Next up, we've got Morgan Garrett replacing Wendy Lee as Akane Owari.
Yeah, trying to compare IMDb's isn't all that fair, especially since Garrett has mostly played side characters. That said, Akane isn't that hard of a character to pull off. Just a hot-blooded chick who likes to eat a lot and doesn't recognize when she's being sexually harassed.
Nah, I don't have a trainer. My stepmom's lovers like to get drunk and give me full-body massages.
I'm not touching that with a 60-foot pole.
So, yeah, nothing much else, and Morgan pulled off the character just fine in my opinion.
I know that smell. Meat! Glorious meat!
Next up, we've got Clarine Harp taking up the role of Peko from Denise Kawaye.
Again, this isn't a hard role to fulfill, at least in this show, since Peko doesn't have main lines, and her most dramatic moments are in the game.
My duty has already been finished.
While I do think Clarine's voice is, again, a bit too low, it's fine for the character.
Forgive me. I so easily lose track of the time.
And actually does sound closer to the original Japanese.
Plus, since one of Clarine's best-known roles was as a ninja, it's funny to connect it back to the second trial and what they said about her being able to balance on Shinai and all that. Obviously, I can't. For the last recasting, we've got Brina Palencia playing Ibuki Miyota. Yeah, that's a pretty darn good replacement.
Brina just has a naturally strong and energetic voice that matches perfectly with Ibuki in my opinion. Not to take away from Julianne Taylor's great performance as a character.
Ibuki Miyota! Put it together and what do you get? Ibuki Miyota!
But while I think she played Ibuki's energetic side better, I just think the lady who played Maho Minami can play the rocker side better.
Whoa, you didn't know I was playing for a crowd.
Which is something I have to favor more. So, great casting here.
Moving on to the Miaihen and the new characters introduced in that series, let's start off with the fan favorite, Seiko Kimura, who's going to be voiced by Aaron Fitzgerald? As in the Aaron Fitzgerald who voiced the crazier sides of Toko and Junko?
Hey, you're Kamaru na Egi, right? Right. Isn't that right?
Huh. That's odd. For somebody who's been on the cast before is now playing a new character here. Whatever, she's a good actress, so yeah.
For someone known for playing more energetic girls these days, she played the introverted Seiko really well. Not unlike her Japanese counterpart, in fact. Erin has always had an amazing vocal range as long as you don't have her do her canker voice ever again.
That was tough! I shall not be silent! Not have to keep him quiet for that damn long!
Then everything should work out nicely.
In that case, I regret not having a truth serum prepared for the interrogation.
Next up is the new character who got the least amount of screen time, Daisaku Bandai, who's being played by Tia Ballard.
Yeah, but when you think about it, isn't that sort of the entire point? Just my own personal expressions, you know? They don't mean anything.
What the hell was that?
Okay, I love Tia Ballard, especially after her role as Chiho Sasaki from The Devil's a Part-Timer. But yeah, she pulled the little girl voice a little bit too well here. And oh god, don't make me remember anymore. Let's just go on to the next one, please!
Alright, so Ryota Mitai is going to be played by Justin Briner.
The actor is still fairly new to the industry, though he did recently play Deku again for the broadcast dub of Hero Academia. I actually really like his voice.
I'm here for the big meeting with Chairman Tengen. Don't want to just barge in.
Despite being in his 20s, he still sounds like a believable preteen, or in Mitai's case, a sickly young adult. So yeah, good choice here.
Next up is Brandon McInnes, who's going to be playing Selnosuke Izayoi.
Yeah, I really have nothing much to say about this actor, as his only other notable role was as Merlane from Heroic Legend. That said, his character really didn't require an A+ actor of any sort.
So good.
Considering Izayoi's only role is to be Ruka's boy toy, then yeah, there's not much he really needs to do or say here.
Moving on, we have the most criminally underused character, the Great Gozu, being played by Chris Rager. Hercule Satan. That's all I have to say.
If you insist on pursuing this course, you will answer to the Great Gozu!
My god, what a waste. Following that up, we have the ungrateful bitch herself, Ruroka Ando, being played by Jad Saxton.
Again, this is a great voice actress who's played several characters I really like. Just feel sorry that she got stuck with this role.
Shriek again and the next one goes between your eyes.
She plays the role really damn well and her voice matches the character perfectly, so good on her, but yeah, Ruruka can go to hell for all I care.
Okay, so next up we have Juzo Sakakura being played by Ian Sinclair. Ooh.
Ian has been cited as the counterpart to Junichi Suwabe, dubbing several of his characters, including this thing that barely qualifies as a character.
He's a traitor. He's got no right to defend himself!
What an asshole! He plays the jerk-ass really well with a really stuck-up tone in his voice, so yeah, nothing much else to say. The character is awful, but Ian played it really damn well.
Next up is Colleen Clickenbeard playing Chisa Yukizome.
Colleen Clickenbeard is always a great choice. She has a good motherly voice, like one that gets eaten by a titan early on into the show, and also has a good crazy side that won't stop at chopping off a finger or two to get a point across.
If it'll fix that attitude, I don't mind engaging in some remedial subtraction.
Honestly, I wouldn't have chosen anyone else for this role.
Getting close to the end, we've got Mark Stoddard playing Kazuo Tengan.
Okay, just because you look like an old dude doesn't mean you can play a good one.
You assume correctly. This is in regards to Makoto Naegi's betrayal.
Now, I don't think you need to be 79 like Hidekazu Shibata, but you do need a lower kind of more feeble voice in order to get the whole Dumbledore thing across. Not that Tengan is physically the slightest bit feeble, but he should still sound it. Hopefully they'll fix it up before the final dubs.
Last and certainly least, we've got Kyosuke Munakata being played by Rico Forjado.
This is what I mean when I say voice acting takes time to refine. Rico's not a bad voice actor, but he's still fairly green. On top of that, for a character that generally should have a calmer, more commanding demeanor, at least in the earlier episodes, Munakata here doesn't sound that much different than his boxing friend, and there should be a significant difference between the two characters.
Even as we speak, the remnants of despair are wreaking havoc. Victim piles upon victim. There's a time and place for petty squabbles. This isn't it.
Even though I really don't like Munakata at all, I do think this character should be portrayed properly if they want to get the right tone and tension of the scenes across.
So those are my general thoughts on the casting choices for Danganronpa 3, Miaihen, and Zetsubohen. A little bit of a mixed bag, but they do have the potential of fulfilling their roles with a little work. And even then, they are being bolstered by a lot of returning actors who are all industry veterans. So, yeah, it's okay for now. Though that said, I do not recommend the broadcast dubs in any shape or form.
Scripts feel mostly like direct translations rather than proper localizations. ADR direction is also embarrassingly lacking in certain scenes, like here with Fuyuhiko, who should sound really pissed off at Chisa, rather than trembling when he's grabbing her by the coattails.
Can it, Teach? You don't got the stones. Oh, I was wrong. You got the biggest pair in the room.
I'd say just wait until the DVDs come out. That is, if Danganronpa 3 proves to be worth the purchase. Will it be? Well, keep up with my vlog reviews and find out for yourself. Until then though, thanks for sticking it out with me, and farewell for now, my friends.